Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Golden Grace Millenary. Today's video, we'll be learning this beautiful and astonishing fascinator. So stay tuned. So, guys, this was how I got the mold from the market. Okay, I bought it like this. I didn't mold it myself, but if you have the shape of the mold, you can go ahead to mold it yourself with your cinnamon or princess mat. So I have my breast pad here. This is called a breast pad or wadding, the one we use for molding fascinators. It is 2 inches by 2 inches, so I just want to sew it down. You locate wherever you want to sew it down to, okay, because the hearts are all the same. Now you sew the four sides down. You know it's a square, so you sew the four sides down. This is me on my sewing machine, just trying to show us that you can use your sewing machine and work around it. All you need to be doing is just to be adjusting it the way that your sewing machine can neatly sew it, because you need your stitches to be neat, because we won't be covering the underneath, or we won't be doing very much with it. So you will see what this is for as we go on. So do well to like this video, share this video with someone, and also like this video and comment. Now we are done, and you can see how neat we sewed it down. It is very neat. Now moving on to the next thing, we'll be fixing our Alice band. Now the place where you join this is now the front side. Okay, the place where your wadding was sewn down, say, is now your the right side. That's the front part. So you have to fix your Alice band the way that suits you, all the way you want it to be. After that, you'll be sewing that with your needle and thread. So I use a fishing line to sew this because I want it to be invisible and neat. Using with the help of the cloth that is usually attached to the Alice band. You know cloth now. Alice band usually comes with this. There is some part of cloth at the Alice band. So with the help of that, I'm tacking down my Alice band to my hat, because this doesn't need glue, it doesn't need gum, because if you use gum, your work will be very rough, and we advocate neatness whenever you work. So just neatly sew it down, and when you are sewing down, you take the bigger part of the sewing down there under the Alice band. Okay, down there at the Alice band, you take the bigger part. You can see where I sticked my needle out from. It's the cloth part of the Alice band. And then you take the tiny stitches at the top of your hat. Where your needle comes out from, you take your needle back very close to it, so that your work at the top is very neat, because the Alice band underneath will still be covering the Alice band, so we can do whatever rough work we want under it. Now moving on to the next thing, you place it on your dummy head, and then you'll be giving it the shape that you want. You can see right there at the right side of your screen is the shape I gave mine. With the help of the wire that is attached to that bias part, the brim part, it will help you to curve this hat to the shape you want. So just with the help of that, curve it, make sure it looks the way you want it to, okay, before you carry on. Now I have this piece of cloth. We have two here. One measures 25 inches by 2 inches, whereas the other one measures 22 inches by 2 inches. Okay, you can use whatever measurements you want. So just place it right sides facing each other, and you sew down just the same way we normally make the casing for our embellishment. So after sewing down, I'll be turning it to the right side. So using my scissors, because it's not very tall, the material, I just use my scissors to turn them inside out. So this was it after I was done. Now I'll be fixing my crinoline. This is a 1-inch crinoline. Remember that the material we folded into two was 2 inches. So when you fold into two, it will now give you 1 inch. So we'll be fixing this into it, and when you are fixing it, place the sewn part at the side of the crinoline. You understand? The sewn part of the cloth of the fabric should be at the side, okay, to avoid any rough work when you are embellishing. Okay, so you just carefully fix it in, and then after you are done, you will now be making the next step. So you just fold into two like this with the sewn part at the side. Okay, you close the one end, you close that end like so. This is just to help us with our work. Now you now flip it to the right side. We are done sewing at this point. If your machine can't sew light fabrics like this, please use your paper and add as much as possible so it gets through. So the sewn part now at this point will be at the middle, that place where we join them at the edge. It will now be at the middle. Then you take the 22 inches and place on top of the 25 inches. Then you take your needle and your thread and tack down. Now there was something I did while I was stacking this down. What I did was I made the upper part of this joining very neat, like the upper part of this design that I'm working on very neat, in the sense that I didn't let my stitching, like the thread, to show at the top. I didn't let it. I just took it from underneath the one at the top. You can see the way I'm just doing it. So this is just the way that you can neatly do yours. But the reason why I did this was because I wasn't sure my feathers was going to cover that particular part. So I just made it very neat that in case my feathers were not able to cover that part, then it wouldn't be much work because it will still be neat at that point. So if yours can also cover your feather, maybe you don't need to go through the delay of trying to make that top very neat. Okay, so just sew down at this point, and that will be all after we are done sewing. Okay, so now moving on to the next thing, you cut your thread after you've knotted it tightly. Now we'll be getting our hat. Now for our hat, we'll be placing this on it. See, you just place it the way you want it to be. And then I also made the stitches at the top. I told you I was doing this because I wasn't sure my feathers were going to cover this particular part of my work. So I had to make my work neat. So respect myself first to avoid too much embellishment just to cover my rough works. So just when you are sewing this down, what you need to do next is to make the work like, unlike what we did when we are fixing our alleys. Now we'll be making the work like the stitches at the down part of this hat very neat. Okay, taking it close to where the needle comes out from, and then we'll be taking the bigger part of the whole stitching at the top just so as to make our underneath neat. Now you can see at this point I was done, and I'll be taking it again to my mannequin head because most of our embellishments will be there. Now this is the bunch of feather that I used. I used a whole bunch, and a little more, like I used a whole bunch. I just used this my razor blade to cut it out and then loosen the thread that was used to tie them together. Now I'll be introducing my golden feather. I didn't use the whole of this golden feather because I made two of this hats. So this feather is already half, then I also shed it into half. I used it for the two because I just used it as a little touch, like a touch of golden feather, but the black was the main feather that I used. So just like you see me doing, that was the way I did it for the black feather. Used my razor blade to cut through the thread and then loosen them up like so. So this is not difficult. So after you're done loosening yours, we'll be moving on to our embellishment properly. Now this is our hats and on the mannequin. Now this is just me picking this was very much work. Like this was a lot of work. Guys, you don't really need to go through this when you are making yours. Please, you can do yours like as you are loosening the threads from the bunch of feathers. You can then be holding them together and then using your hot glue to join them, because mine was just at some point I had to get somebody to start picking the feathers for me. So what I did was just to pick, but the reason why I actually loosened everything was to get them all to be at the same size. You understand? Like to pick the stick of the feather, like the that grip part of the feather, to hold them all together and to make them the same sizes, and then they can now be the way they want to be. So that was just the reason why I had to loosen everything. But you don't actually need to go through this stress. just as you loosen yours, pack them like that, add your glue and stick them down. Now you see the reason why we added this part of the this wording, why we sewed it down, because we cannot just glue down on our heart. No, it will make our work very rough. So guys, I added the golden feather at the beginning, and then I started adding my black feathers, because the black feathers are actually the main feathers for this design. I actually wanted to use golden throughout, but I couldn't because I couldn't get the golden feathers anymore for at the market, so I had to use the little golden that I had and just mix it up with the black. So the black were were very much fuller, like a whole bunch. Then the golden were just a touch. So just do yours to your taste. Now after I was done that, we went on to beading, and beading with the pearl setting machine. Guys, I won't be doing much of an explanation for this pearl setting machine, because in my previous video, fascinator video, where I made a lace fascinator, I did the explanation there. So just that in this video I actually changed the nozzles, like I actually changed it to the size that I wanted. So the pearl setting machine comes with different sizes, so that depending on the size of pearl you are working with, you can always change and then work with that size of pearl. So just something to fix. And then the pin you see on the table is just the pin that helps us to attach the pearls to the fabric or to the heart where that we want. Okay, that is for the pin. So if you, in case you don't know how to use a pearl setting machine, you can watch my previous fascinator video on how to make a lace fascinator. Okay, I did the beading there, and I'm sure like I did a little explanation. Or you can browse through your YouTube and type how to use a pearl setting machine. You can also see that it's not difficult at all. It's not difficult. Okay, so if you don't have this, you can use the pearls that has openings. Okay, they have openings. You can use your thread to attach them, like to tag them. They are beads, they have openings just like pearls. This pearl doesn't have openings, but those ones that you can use your thread and needle to tag down, they have openings. So you can also go for that if you don't have a pearl setting machine. So guys, let me beg again, share this video. There are lots of people who are paying, who pay just to learn a particular design. Okay, but this is free. You can share it with somebody. Just your data, it would cost your data, and I'm so grateful to you as you do that. And don't forget to like this video. Don't also forget to leave a comment for me at the comment section. Let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what you're saying. Let me know your questions at the comment section. And also, we have a Facebook page at Golden Grace Millenary. Please do well to follow this Facebook page. I drop some 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 hearts and fascinators designs there. Okay, and there, even if I don't upload the tutorial here, you can ask me there at the comment section of the YouTube, of the Facebook page. Please, you can say we want a tutorial on this, and then I would work on it. So please follow my Facebook page. It would do us a great deal. So I'll just be adding a feather design at that center. At the point where I was making this video, I wasn't sure of what I wanted to make, a customized one for myself for the feather, for the rose at that point. But on the other hand, I was thinking to get one because I had much work to do. So at that point I didn't have the feather. So now, because the rose, I meant to say, now we're covering that underneath. This is not the first time, this is not the second, and it's not the last time that I'm doing this on this YouTube channel. So I always like to cover my Alice band, even if I just sewed it down. I always like to cover it, even though I make that part very neat. I like to cover. And don't always forget to use your, whether it's your lighter or your matches, to just slightly bond the edge of your elastic whenever you want to use it, because it would prevent fraying. So just make that part neat. So I just cut a little from this because I didn't have the smaller this smaller inch elastic, so I had to use this. And also I'll also be adding the 8 inches elastic that I usually add for my Alice band, just to make it firm, like to make it firm on the head of my clients. This is the 8 inches elastic. This is not the first, it's not the second, it's not the third, and it won't be the last that I'm doing this. So you see the way I just attached it from the inside of the Alice band, and after attaching it, I will also go ahead to use that same elastic, cut out a little more, and then wrap around the point where I joined it, where I glued it down to the Alice band, just to make my work neat. And guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Especially if you've watched to this point, may God richly, 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 richly bless you, and in all your endeavors you will prosper and you make it big. God said in the book of Proverbs 28 verse 18, Proverbs 23 verse 18, he says, surely there is a future hope for you, and your hope will not be cut off. So whatever your hope is, in the name of Jesus Christ, I pray it will not be cut off, and the Lord will take you beyond your expectations. Do well to like this video, share this video, subscribe to this channel if you are yet to. And guys, this was the astonishing rose that I added to this, and it made it even more exquisite. Thank you for watching. I love you. See you in my next tutorial. Bye.